Hey everybody, Puzzle Max here, and today I've got an unboxing video of a puzzle that I'm really excited to get my hands on. This is a 3D printed puzzle that was created by Mr. Grant Anderson, same person that made the Clover 2x2 puzzle. He came up with this design. It's a multi-axis puzzle that also functions like a 2x2. This is the CH3 puzzle, and I'm really thinking this one's going to be a lot of fun, not only to solve, but it's going to look great on a shelf, and it's going to look even better when it's fully scrambled. I got this from his Etsy page. There will be a link down below. He's currently 3D printing these and doing all the work himself, sending them out. One of the cool things about this is he was originally, when I purchased this, he was offering these in 3 different variants, where you could buy a complete do-it-yourself kit, where you'd have to assemble the puzzle yourself. He included all the screws and hardware and everything that was necessary for that. Then there was this version that I got, mainly because it was available, and also because the do-it-yourself kit, being a 3D printed puzzle, the pieces of the complete DIY kit didn't come polished. The pieces of this puzzle did, where he has done all the hard work of putting it together and assembling it, but he also includes the lovely sticker set that goes with it. So the prices varied. The DIY kit was obviously less expensive. It was the cheapest of all options. This version, where you have to sticker it yourself, was slightly more expensive, but the fully stickered version was also more expensive, and I don't mind putting stickers on. I enjoy that, so I figured why not. This is a very similar puzzle to the Clover 2x2, rather, where all axes of the puzzle, of a cubic puzzle, are available. However, unlike the Clover 2x2, this one uses a 3x3. So you can turn that and that, like a 3x3. Now, enough of me running my mouth here without this being pretty and easy to see. Let me go ahead, take a break here, get all these stickers put on, and I'll come back. We can take a look at it and scramble it up and see how awesome it looks when it's all ready to go. So I'll be back shortly. And we're back. I'm sure most of you would agree that this looks a whole lot cooler now that all the colors are on and you can actually see what you're looking at. Again, this is the CH3 Puzzle by Grant Anderson, available in his Etsy shop. There will be a link down below. I'm going to do a quick explanation of the functionality of this, and then some of my first opinions that I gathered while stickering it. This is a 3x3, as you can kind of tell by the inside here, so you can do standard 3x3 turns, just like any other 3x3 mod, all around the puzzle. But you can also do edge turns all around the puzzle and corner turns. That means that all of these little pieces can get swapped all throughout the puzzle, twisted all around, made to look really cool. And I have a feeling that it's going to look fantastic when it's all fully scrambled. Now, a couple of my first impressions notes here. This was not an easy sticker. Because of these little tiny stickers, it took me a long time to just make sure that everything was placed right and secure. One other thing to note, you probably won't be able to see this because of my low quality camera here, but some of these pieces are noticeably larger. The flat surface on some of these pieces, specifically these pieces, are noticeably larger than the others. I don't know if that was a production thing or if it's a polishing thing or finishing thing, whatever, but the puzzle is still fully functional. It doesn't have anything to do with that, so it's clearly just an aesthetic issue, and that's why I made a really good point of making sure that everything was stuck, because the larger sections here, these 2 pieces, you can't really tell, but the flat surface on these 2 pieces are larger than these 2, and they also have a bit more texture to them. So I made a point of spending a bit more time to make sure that everything was stuck on really well. The sticker quality seemed fantastic. They all stuck down really good and everything held on tight. There was a missing blue sticker. You definitely can probably see this. This little sticker here is a different shade of blue than these other ones all around this blue face. That little piece was missing. It's a tiny sticker. It probably came off at some point either during shipping or whatever. I couldn't find it, and even if I'd found it, I probably wouldn't have used it. But I have a collection of hundreds of stickers, so I managed to find a blue that pretty much matched, and it's being such a small sticker, it's not going to matter any. So no complaint about that. There is some catching on these corners in some spots where the clockwise turns or counterclockwise turns just don't work as well as they would in the other direction. Again, being a 3D printed puzzle, here's a good example. This one is very difficult to turn clockwise. But if I bring it back here, it turns counterclockwise slightly easier and just gets caught a little better in the clockwise direction. Again, a 3D printed puzzle, you can't expect perfection. There's going to be slight flaws here. But overall, I think my first impression is that this is a really cool puzzle. The turning is not flawless, even on the big 3x3 turns. This definitely could use some lube, and I'll probably do that after this video. But I wanted to give my first impressions out of the box, just ready to go. The issue with lubing this is going to be that there's very little gappage here. Pieces are solid, and even the gaps in between the 3x3 parts here are very, very small. Luckily, my little kitty cat has diabetes, and I have lots of insulin needles just hanging around, and I can use those insulin needles to bring in some lube and then use these small gaps to put it in. So I have an advantage there. You may have a tougher time lubing this puzzle if you do decide to get it. This is, again, by Grant Anderson, and he is also the person who produced the Clover 2x2 puzzle. These function very similarly, but the 2x2 is just a 2x2 where all of the corners and edges can also turn. This being the CH3 being a 3x3 with that same mechanism. The puzzle itself I don't believe is going to be very difficult, but it is going to look amazing when it's scrambled because it looks just really cool to begin with when it's already solved. So let's go ahead and scramble this up. I'm going to take my time because I know that there is some catching here and there, but I have a feeling that even just the first scramble on this is going to cause some pretty intense breaking in, and I'll be surprised when I get around to solving it how much better things start to turn. Even after these first few turns, I can already notice that the 3x3 stuff is moving smoother and smoother with every turn. So that's a huge advantage. So now that I've gotten the 3x3 partially done, I'm going to start making some turns on all of these corners. And then the edges. You want to turn the corners first because the edges move some of those corner pieces with them. So do some corner turns in various random directions. Here's a good example of the catching and sticking. That piece was kind of difficult to turn. And let's go this direction here. And now I'm going to turn just all of the edges 180 degrees. Even though this is an edge-turning puzzle, there is no jumbling possible because the edges don't overlap in any way. So it's just a standard 3x3, but the jumbling is not available, even though you would expect it from an edge-turning puzzle. The one other thing to note here is that the edge turns don't feel like they're going to pop. There's all the pieces seem to be very solid here. I don't have any fear that things are going to start popping and pieces are going to come out or anything like that, which is a huge advantage on a 3D printed puzzle. Sometimes, especially with so many moving parts, sometimes you can run into an issue where it's just doesn't feel quite stuck together well enough, and you have a few spots where things feel like they just might pop at any given moment. But that's not the case here. All the pieces seem to be really solid in place. I do hope that lubing this after this scramble and solve will smooth things out a bit. If you've worked any with 3D printed puzzles, you know what I'm talking about. It has that kind of grainy feel to it, and it could certainly use just a dash of lube. One cool thing here that I just noticed, these edge pieces never move from the interior. So this 3x3 on the inside will always be attached to this edge, and this corner will always be attached to the correct corners on the inside rather. So that's not going to make it easier to just put things back together before you start doing that 3x3 solve. Sorry if I keep getting close to the camera here. It's just a matter of me wanting to make sure I make safe turns here and not mess anything up in the process. I do think that this is going to be a really fun puzzle. It's not going to be difficult. There might be a weird parity case when you start reducing the edges, and well, I guess you'd be reducing the corners all along the way, since these corners include those little tiny pieces. So there could be a potential parity there because of the rotation of the edges. If so, I imagine it's going to be a fairly easy solve. It's just one of those little nuance moments where you have to kind of look at it twice. So yeah, first impressions here, I definitely think this is a really cool puzzle. And one of my favorite parts about a puzzle like this is now that it's mostly scrambled, I'm sure I could have done more, but for the video part here, it's just a matter of showing it off. This thing looks like a piece of stained glass. I love puzzles where there's just so many colors and things just look amazing when they're all scrambled up. I mean, to a non-solver, you would look at this, they would look at this puzzle and go, "Holy crap, where do I begin?" Because there's just so many different colors available and lots going on. I would definitely think this puzzle is worth checking out. If you've tried the Clover 2x2 and enjoyed that solve, this puzzle will probably be for you as well. And big shout out to Grant. I will be sure to link his Etsy page below. I'll also link the twistypuzzling.com museum pages about both of these puzzles, the Clover 2x2 and the CH3, just so you can get some more information on both of those. But yeah, I'd say check this out. It's very cool looking, and because he offered this in 3 different varieties, when I bought this, you could get the full kit, the kit that I got where you had to put the stickers on yourself, or a ready-to-go stickers on it already when it comes out of the package. And the price points were very variable for all of those. If he keeps offering that, you can get this for a potentially lower price than you might expect. So it's a cool 3D printed puzzle. It's going to look great next to similar puzzles like the Clover 2x2. So check this out. Always support local puzzle inventors or new puzzle inventors. He has a pretty wide selection of various puzzles. And this one is a great new addition. It's cool looking, and I think it's worth the money and worth the effort to put all the stickers on. So enjoy it, take a look at it, and as always, happy solving.